What do you use when protecting your home? Is it a handgun? Maybe it's a 9mm PCC. Maybe it's a shotgun. Well, for me, it's this, my personal home defense and backpack AR pistol. And I wanted to show you guys, walk you through what I have built out here to hopefully inspire you to build something similar to this, but maybe even a little better. My reasoning for this build is that I wanted something that was the most practical and tactical that I could build out. And what I mean by that is something that is first and foremost a home defense gun, so it's compact enough that it works inside my compact space, and it is also practical enough that it can fold up and I can actually put it inside of a backpack so that it can carry it around and take it with me in a discreet way. So that was my main mission with this build. And honestly, the reason a full-sized AR-15, a 16-inch barrel or longer, wouldn't really work in this situation is because I have a really tight enclosed space. And maybe you guys too. I currently live in an apartment, and so having a really long, kind of beefy, girthy gun wouldn't really work out for me in my space. And so I wanted something compact enough that it would still be very effective inside these small spaces. I also wanted it small enough where it's easy to maneuver in these tight spaces because the walls and corners get pretty sharp pretty quickly. So I needed something compact and small enough that I could take it around with me in these small spaces and I wouldn't be held up or knocking into doors, windows, and corners when I'm trying to maneuver around my space. So in order to achieve those goals, I decided to go with 300 Blackout. And there are three main reasons why I decided to do this. Number one is that it performs very well inside of a shorter barrel as opposed to 5.56. You're gonna lose a lot more of that velocity and a lot more of that stopping power when you switch over to something like 5.56. 300 Blackout still performs very well. Number two is it works very well as a suppressed cartridge if someday I want to do that because this gun is not currently suppressed. Number three, I wanted a cartridge that would not over-penetrate at all when I'm trying to hit a target because, again, 5.56 is very effective with longer barrels, but what comes with that effectiveness is over-penetration a lot of the time. So depending on your ammo choice, 300 Blackout will break apart very easily and not go through things like walls or doors or things of that nature. So guys, let's go through this build one piece at a time. We're gonna go from front to back. So number one is we have a linear compensator right here on the front. And this is not a suppressor. I know it kind of looks like one, but the reason why I went with a really long extended linear compensator like this is because I want to throw as much of the sound forward as possible, and this linear compensator allows me to do that. Now, I would like to suppress this someday. I'm not doing that right now, but in the future, that's what I would like to do, and I'd probably go with something like a break lock system. And this linear compensator is from a company called Very Tactical, and so they actually call this their fake suppressor, and they kind of laser engrave some like fake serial numbers and things just to make it look kind of neat. Like I said, this is a 7.5-inch 300 Blackout barrel that this linear compensator is attached to. That's coming from AT3 Tactical. For the handguard that's wrapping around that barrel, we have some quad rails. Now, I know that quad rails are pretty old and pretty looked down upon nowadays, especially if the goal is to have a really lightweight setup. I like quad rails, number one, because I really enjoy how easy they are to work with in terms of locking attachments to. That's really nice, but then also I just like the look. I really like the militaristic aesthetic of quad rails, guys, so that looks really nice there. What's nice about these ones from AT3 as well is they have built-in QD mounts, so you can put your sling onto, which I do have a sling on this. So that's another reason why I went with the AT3 Tactical quad rails as well. Not all quad rails will have that, so it's a very nice feature to have that. The other thing I have on here are some Magpul rail covers. Magpul rail covers are really nice with quad rails because they make quad rails feel a lot less aggressive, and it just makes them feel a lot better. I also have my handguard wrap in some Goon tape. Number one, because it helps with my grip to help with that wraparound feeling in order to get a good grip on the handguard and the proper C-clamp. But then it also looks cool. Looks kind of operator-y, which you guys know I'm all about looking like a knockoff operator when I get the chance. We also have a weapon light on this, and this is the Streamlight ProTac Rail Mount 1, and it's only 350 lumens. And let's talk about weapon lights really quick. So a lot of people out there say you have to have 1,000 lumens. You know, that's kind of the minimum. Here's the thing, guys. You need to take into account where you're at and what your situation is. What I mean by that is you have to understand how small your space is. And for someone like me, my apartment, as you can kind of see, is filled with white walls. And so if I shine 1,000 lumen light at these white walls here, I'm gonna get absolutely blinded by how bright 1,000 lumen light is. And so because my space is small and this is 350 lumens is still plenty bright enough. I decided to go with a lower lumen light in order to better see whatever is happening inside my home instead of just blinding myself. Because when this thing is shining at somebody, it's still plenty bright, especially for someone who's not expecting it. So that's why I went with this particular weapon light and this particular brightness output. What I love about Streamlight 2 is they give you everything that you need right out of the box, and so it has a pressure pad as well. I like to have a C-clamp around the handguard of my rifle, so it's really easy for me to activate it, and it also has a constant on button as well, so it just stays on just like that. Really nice that Streamlight includes everything, because other weapon light manufacturers will charge you extra for things like the pressure pad, so that's great. Moving on down the rifle, down to the receiver set now. The upper receiver came from AT3 Tactical as well, and the bolt carrier group. I currently have this for testing. It's from Sharp's Rifle Company. This is their XPB, and this is an adjustable gas key bolt carrier group. I can make a whole video on just this bolt carrier group alone. I'm kind of a bolt carrier group nerd. I did a lot of research into different types of bolt carrier groups for a video for AT3. You can check that out right over here. But basically what this particular bolt carrier lets you do is tune the gas similar to what you can do on an adjustable gas block. But instead of tuning it at the gas block, what you can do is tune it at the gas key and help tune your cycling and make a really smooth operating gun that way. This will be very handy when I'm eventually going to suppress this gun, but it still is handy right now to help tune the gas to have the minimum amount of gas cycling back so that the recoil on this gun is actually really, really smooth. Right now I'm just using it for testing, and I don't know if I actually will keep it, but it's nice to have for now. Moving on to the lower, this is a Anderson lower. I bought it off my friend a few years back, and he went to town and tried to do some painting on the upper receiver and the lower receiver a little bit, but it didn't end up looking great. So I thought about re-cerakoting this, but instead I just decided to kind of leave it and make it look a little battle hardened. I kind of like that vibe. Maybe you guys hate it, let me know in the comments. I know it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but hey, it works, and sometimes you can get what you can get. On the bottom of that lower receiver, I have a Solvent Arms Magwell, and this is to help with quick reloads. I'm not the fastest person when it comes to reloads. I'm still getting better at it, but I'm hoping that this is kind of like training wheels and will kind of help me get better at it as I go. But it also looks great, and it, again, just helps with fast reloads. It also doubles as a trigger guard right underneath here. For that trigger, what I haven't decided on yet is what trigger I'm going to put in this thing. This is a basic mil-spec trigger. I could go with something like a Rave 140, or really in most situations you should go with a 2-stage trigger that is very deliberate, something around the 3.5 pound to 4.5 pound range for a self-defense trigger, because you want to be really deliberate with those shots that you're taking. You don't want any kind of accidental trigger discharge just because the trigger is too light. I felt triggers as low as 1.5 pounds, and those are great, but not for a home defense situation. You really want to have a heavier trigger, because when you pull that trigger, you want to know for certain that you are pulling it. I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think I should get for a trigger, because I'm always open to recommendations, and kind of like with bolt carrier groups, I'm kind of a trigger nerd, so it's kind of weird that I haven't upgraded the trigger yet, but we'll see what happens there. Again, there's always upgrades that you can make on this, and there's always things that you can do. Every gun is always in a constant iteration of change. Moving on towards the back, I have another Solvent product. This is the Gen 5 folding adapter, and this is very similar to the Law Tactical folder that a lot of people use. And the reason I went with this one is because, number one, the cost, it's a bit cheaper, but also it's a little bit more higher quality to me, because when I felt the Solvent Arms adapters, they have a tendency to slope down, kind of, you know, just kind of like this. They have a tendency of slowly drooping down. When this is locked into position, there's no getting it out of position. Kind of like what I said at the beginning, the reason I went with a folding stock adapter is because I wanted an AR that was the most practical thing I could think of. And the most practical thing I could think of was a home defense AR, and also something that I could take with me to be either kind of like a truck gun or a backpack gun. And having this folding stock adapter really helps with that and keeps this overall package really, really small when it's all folded up. Going on towards the back, this is a SB Tactical brace. This is an AR pistol, and so you have to have a brace, and this one's very comfortable. I did a short at AT3 that hit almost about 1 million views, and it was about taping your buffer tube to prevent stock rattle, and that was very popular. And I did the same thing on this. I just threw some tape on here because this thing does actually move around and rattle a fair bit, and so to tighten that up, I just put a little tape on there, and that works great. Maybe that's a tip you guys can use. For the grip, I have the Daniel Defense grip, and this came with the lower when I bought it, and the reason that I really like the Daniel Defense grips actually are because it helps me with indexing really, really quickly, especially in the dark, and I'm not exactly sure, you know, maybe where things are, or, you know, I'm still kind of getting my bearings. This actually helps me get a really nice fast index and puts my hand, my wrist, and my fingers in the right position to deactivate or activate the safety and put my finger on the trigger when the time comes. So that's one reason I really like that. For the sling that I have on here, this is the Magpul MS1, and this is the 2-point sling with QDMs. I find that 2-point slings are faster to put on and take off rather than single-point slings. I do like single-point slings, but what I really like about these is the QDMs are really solid, and they're not going to, you know, fall off, or they're not going to just break off. But really, a nice 2-point sling system works very well, and that's how I keep it. For the optics package that I have on this gun, I have the AT3 Alpha Green Dot, and I prefer green dots because they're easier for my eye to see. I have a slight astigmatism, and so having the green dot makes it easy to see. And I do have the AT3 Delta Magnifier on this, and this kind of goes with the idea of the backpack gun. I like having the flexibility of being able to magnify and see my target for 2 reasons. Number 1 is in a defense situation, if something is far away and I need to kind of hit it, I'm going to be using this in order to identify my target if it's downrange. And that works in a self-defense situation as well as at the range, because sometimes if you're shooting a target further away, it's nice to see exactly where you're hitting, especially when you're trying to do a zeroing of an optic or anything else. Having just a quick magnification, just be able to see what you're hitting and where you're hitting, is very, very handy. And if I want to lose some weight, if I don't plan on stretching this outside the home, then this Delta does have a quick detach system that I can just take it off immediately, lose some weight, and right away it becomes a really easy, nice light thing to take around with me. But I do like having the extra magnification just in case I need it. Most of the time when this gun is at my nightstand, I do have this flipped to the side and I don't need any kind of magnification. And then I have my backup iron sights flipped up. These backup iron sights are from a company called IMI Defense, and they are co-witness sights. So in case my red dot goes down for any reason, in case the battery dies and I forget, then I do still have co-witness iron sights. Very, very important to have, especially with a home defense gun, because you always need to have a proper sight picture in any shooting situation, but especially in a home defense situation. What's nice is this optic does have shake awake, so the battery shouldn't be running out anytime soon, especially if I'm really consistent and diligent about changing the battery when the time comes. The other thing that I sometimes have on here, I don't ever have it on when it's home defense, but I just kind of keep it in my range bag, is a bipod. And the main reason I have that is just in case, again, I'm trying to sight something in, or in case I just want to practice my precision skills. This is a 7.5-inch 300 Blackout, so you really should not be using this as a precision gun whatsoever. This is a really cheap Chinesium bipod. I wouldn't recommend anybody actually go with this, but one of my friends told me at work is, instead of spending all kinds of money on a bipod when you don't know if you'll use it all the time, just go ahead and buy something cheap and practice with it and see if you end up using it a lot. And if you do, then spend the money on buying a real bipod that's really quality. I have not made the decision to do that yet, so we will see if I end up using that. But most of the time, that stays off, and it's only in the case of really unique circumstances that I'm using that. Really, guys, at the end of the day, this gun isn't just about cool parts or making it look dope, which it does, by the way. It's about being ready for the unexpected and always being prepared for a situation that we all hope we're never in. But if you want to be even more prepared for unexpected situations, then you can check out what I carry along with this gun in my backpack in this video right here, so check it out.